Hey guys, it's SF and welcome to Random Talk Sundays. This week I'll be rank farming in NA. Why? Not really. There is no real reason why. It's just that there's nothing else going on. Marvel Tsum Tsum collaboration's gone. Well, I'm almost done with Marvel Tsum Tsum, and I just need a few more Ultrons, and then NA already finished Tower, and then there's nothing much to farm in NA either ways. So why not do some trials and rank up? Yes, more rank means more stamina. So my usual team, well, not my usual team. If I want, I usually bring a second doji in terms of just more power, but I want some more lanes, so bring Leah for the max luck, and then doji, which is going to be my genius monster, and then God Striker just for damage. And times 3 experience is always good, and I'm just gonna bring whatever basically. Let's start from the bottom and work my way up to the top. But I guess I'll start with NA first, because NA is going to end up quickly. I don't even know how long this is going to be. People are looking forward to an hour because there was a lot of stuff happening while I was away. And of course I was away for a very good reason. But NA, Halloween alphas are coming back. Most people are of course excited because it's new monsters and new series and stuff like that. But most people don't really like the monsters as much. For me, they're not that great. Of course, they are totally replaceable. The only one that's not really replaceable is Beethoven Alpha, especially for the evolution. Why evolution? If you've seen Strike Shot, he's the lowest rating monster out of all the three. But the only reason for evolution Beethoven is Hakua. Beethoven Alpha, the evolved form, has 3 Slayers: Dragon Slayer, Aetherian Slayer, and Beast Slayer, and they're all M's. So those three classes are all in Hakua. So the Beasts are the Wolves, the Aetherians are the Felmains and Visceron, and then Dragon is Hakua. He makes runs very, very easy. Makes it very, very easy, and he also has a Meteor Bomb combo that procs. I think it procs 2 of them, but I forgot which 2. It might be Aetherian and Dragon. I'm not totally sure. I don't really remember. But very good for those people that farm Hakua. But that's the only real thing about Beethoven and the whole series. If you want like good monsters, starting out is not that great. Like Ibaraki Doji Alpha is really good as a no damage wall monster that is a water. But you know, there's a ton of them. There is Susano, there is Kenshin that can replace her. But there is going to be a guaranteed 10 shot, so you can have, so you get a chance to get all 3. I think like people would like the Ascended Snowbow Alpha the most because you can bring her to Marishi, which is nice. Do not bring her for the 23rd floor. I think she will work. She is a D&T Slayer M, but she is a Pierce Monster, so she'll be doing really, really bad damage. I have both versions in NA. I use the most recent uses for her. For me was Ascended form was for, I was using her for Baste, which was awesome. Of course, I sometimes use her for Marishi if I'm really bored and want to use new monsters. And then the evolved form with the full resistance and no warp is the 23rd floor of the tower. I don't really use her anymore because I have Aladdin and stuff like that. But before Aladdin came, Aladdin's Transcension came, I basically used her for that stage. And then Ibaraki Doji, I hardly use her. I don't think I ever used her. I think I used her once during Event Prowler. The new extreme that's part of the Halloween series, Haunting Hollow. But in terms of the farmables, Van Prowler is good for Marishi. I think that's the only real impossible that I used her in. Who's the third one? Willie. Willie, I used him for Bishop Mountain. I don't really use Gigamantis for Bishop Mountain just because Gigamantis has low HP and stuff like that. Of course, it doesn't really matter if you're really good at Bishop Mountain. but really does have more HP. And if you want to start off with a Pierce monster, there are bounce monster alternatives like Jiraiya, and then like NA has Nash and stuff like that. But if you want to start off with Pierce, then I use really more than Gigamantis in general. But I guess that's pretty much NA. And then JP, tons of stuff. I don't even know what to start off with. Should I start with the most recent news or start off with my trip? I guess I'll start off with my trip. So basically, for people who don't know, I went to Japan for last week, and I went to Japan for X Flag Park, and I get to meet like all the devs and stuff like that, all the NA devs. I didn't meet Agent K because Agent K took the week off, and then because he's baller and stuff like that. But I didn't meet him. But I'm pretty sure he's like munching on all the snacks that we bought them at the office. But in terms of I actually visited the Mixie headquarters. Well, it's not Mixie headquarters, it's like the X Flag. That's their gaming department. I went there, and then it's basically like a normal office area in general. There's nothing really special in that place. Of course, I saw the recording places, like the recording sets that they use in the Japanese videos. Those are really cool. That was really cool. But it was just like a normal office, in my opinion. Like, you know, you have rows of desks of where everybody works, and then there are some meeting rooms. There is like a cafe area, there's a break area, and stuff like that. But I did get to meet everybody, so that was really cool. I get to meet the people behind the scenes as well, and talk to them about Monster Strike and stuff like that. So that was really cool. And then X Flag Park came. So the park itself was really awesome. Like when I had like VIP access in a way. So basically, I was invited, right? So I get to be at the VIP line. So I didn't have to wait. Of course, I didn't have to wait, and there was no long lineup. So I just go through the lines of normal people, and then we converge like in the VIP line. The VIP line will converge with the normal participation line, but that was like right at the door, like right at the entrance of the park. So that was really neat. But we didn't get in until like at the very start of the park. It was open at 8. Like people can get in at 8, but the actual park opening was at 10, I think. And the VIP line didn't get to go in until like at 10, like basically at 10. Come on, kill it. No. But so that was one bad part, because there was a long lineup for the merchandise and the food. In the end, I didn't get to buy any merchandise and the food, because merchandise line was basically, I think it was a 6-hour wait longest, and then like the first time we passed through it was a 3-hour wait, and then food lineup was like 3-hour wait. So I didn't really bother. I only stayed for like half a day actually. Mostly because, so what I really stayed for was the first half of the day. So the Marvel Zoom and Monster Strike collaboration stage, where they had Yamato Takeru's voice actor cosplaying as Yamato Takeru, and then they did stuff with like Marvel Zoom with the Yamato Takeru stage, and then the first time Loki came. So I was basically one of those guys that were sitting in front of the stage and doing Loki. And I basically died the first time because I didn't know the gimmicks and stuff like that. I didn't really bother checking either. And then I was doing for the 3 stars clear as well, so I was bringing all Marvel Zoom monsters, and that was never good. So I died a lot there. I didn't really farm during that day because I was busy doing other stuff. And then I stayed for the monster news. I was one of those guys that was like laughing when Baby Kake was cosplaying as Saigo. Like everybody laughed, like everybody in the stands laughed. It was really crazy. And then it was really surprising because they announced Eclipse and Nanami, and then they said, "Oh, they're coming out the day after tomorrow." I'm like, what the F? What the F? And because Monster Strike never do that in general, and that was a really nice surprise. And using both Eclipse and Nanami like right now, they are really strong. If you monster of the week for this week is going to be Eclipse. I'm not sure about Nanami, but in terms of Nanami, like she's good. She just improved. Let's just say that she improved in terms of her rank in no gravity barrier monsters and one or no gravity barrier monsters. But she's not like OP tier class, and she's not like unique like Eclipse, where she'll find her own spot within dungeons. But Eclipse is really unique because of its stretch out, and then a power type with a speed up is always nice. You'll probably hear it in the Monster of the Week video. But that is really nice. And then of course, and then I watched the circus, the Axion circus, where they feature like Izanami and then like Margaret, Sinbad, who else is there? Sinbad, Romeo, I think those three, and then Merlin was the narrator. The story itself I didn't really get. I didn't really pay attention to the story in general. And then even like Pete and the others were like, so we know that Margaret was revived back to the dead or something like that, and then like Sinbad and Napoleon had beef, and then they band together to beat Izanami, and then they tried to get something from Izanami, like those jade things. So we were like, okay. But it was a cool show in general, and they did a lot of cool tricks, which were like really awesome in my opinion. And then I think we went home after that. We ate lunch and then we went home after that. And then because I was pretty tired during that day. I didn't wake up. I woke up at 4 a.m. that day, and then I went to the park. I went out the door at like 7. Got to the park at 9, I think. Like 8 or 9, and then basically stayed there until like 1 or 2. But it was rough. And then after that there was Yomi. Oh yeah, I also watched the White Ash show. They're awesome, but the thing about White Ash is that I can barely hear them pronounce anything correctly. Like you just hear a mumbling of words that you don't know if it's actually Japanese or it's actually English until you actually see the lyrics and stuff like that. Like you see the lyrics and then listen to the song, it's like, oh, they're saying, like, you can get it, you can hear the pronunciation and stuff like that. But if you hear it live, it's like, I don't even know what they're saying. Is it English or Japanese? They're saying something. But anyways, after that it was Yomi. I got home at like 4? No, not 4. Like 3, around 3, and then I was watching all the other stuff, like the stuff that was on stream, and then I was sad when Bulldozer failed. Well, they didn't fail, they just got defeated in the Grand Prix off of a giant Robin Hood pinch from the other team, which was pretty lucky for them, and I guess unlucky for Bulldozer as well, because they were like pretty much one stage ahead of them. So they were on the last stage, and then the other team was on the second boss bar, and they got a perfect Robin Hood position and pinch, and then that was Dunzo. And then there was a giant hubbub of the connection of Bulldozer's like run. So their run was laggy, and then like they said if they wanted a remake, and then there's like, nope, they didn't want a remake, so they said they got defeated fair and square, and the lag didn't really mean anything because, of course, they got further than the other team, but they just made a good match shot or a pinch shot. So kudos to them. And of course, if they dragged it on any longer, then Tsushima will not be able to do Yomi or delay Yomi in terms of the M4 run. But even so, they defeated it in first shot in terms of Yomi, and that was awesome. I slept the first hour of Yomi. I'm not gonna lie, I slept the first hour of Yomi because I did a little power nap. So I only have 1 hour to play Yomi. I did defeat Yomi, but I didn't get a drop. So, but it's a really cool dungeon. Like the hit style switches was really fun. But I didn't make a video, of course. And in terms of difficulty, like, it's definitely easier than Eden, but for people that cannot predict shots and predict angles, then it might be a little bit harder than Eden, because you cannot get the good if you cannot position for the switches, then you're basically dead. And I did try Eden. In terms of Eden's laser, it shoots to the closest stationary monster. It's not the monster that bumps into him. So it's a very strong laser, 24k, and then it is like a normal lock-on laser basically. But it is different. But his strike shot is very strong too. It's the same, I think the same power as Ascended Gabrielle's Poison Meteor. Like, the only bad part about Yomi is just that his laser is not, it's harder to lock on than like normal lock-on lasers. So you might lose some power that way, but the Poison Meteor is strong, 600k for the meteor itself, and then 35k, 600k, and then 350k for the actual poison for 3 turns. So that's about a million and 500, a million and 50. So that is very, very strong. I'll get him next time. It's not that bad. The only bad part is that the best farmo is Eden, and Eden is definitely harder than Yomi. So if you don't have Eden, then it's going to be a little bit sketchy. And then they're going to release Rembert. That's how you pronounce it. And she's going to be like the OP for Yomi. And then if you want other monsters, then it's going to be Arthur. Arthur's not that great. You want Musashi, I guess. Musashi or Udi, the evolved form of Udi. So those guys are really good. But it's just a matter of playing with the switches and then killing the obstructors in one shot. So it's kind of like normal Yomi. You have to one shot people, but it's a little harder than Yomi. But you will see. Like, he is a very strong monster as well. And then Monster Strike news came after Yomi. Well, actually, Hikakin's graduation came. And so he's off of M4 now because he thinks that he's not good enough to be considered as M4. So, of course, his box doesn't measure up to like the other 3 people in M4. But, you know, he's like the most famous person and he does make all the money. Well, not for M4, but he makes more money than those 3 probably combined, in my opinion. So, you know, M4 might lose some popularity in that sense. But I think he makes the challenges a little more like a challenge. Because although, of course, he's not as good as the 3, but if it's all 4 like really crazy good players, then like the challenges like the Bakusetsu challenges are not really, or the Colossal challenges, sorry, they're not really a challenge anymore. And like you're gonna expect M4 to beat it. You want M4 to beat it. Like, that's like from whenever they started. I think it was Marishi like a year and a half ago. You expect them to beat it, but you know, you always have that sense of it's not always 100%. And especially, of course, one of the main reasons is Hikaki, who doesn't have an OP box or anything, and that makes it more more like what you call it, more makes it more worth to watch, because you don't know exactly if they're gonna beat it or not. So him leaving is not the best for M4 in my opinion, because like if they add in another like OP player like Kazuyoshi or something like that, then you're like, oh, they're gonna beat it no matter what. Because if those four didn't beat it, then it's going to be major trouble for their identity, because they're considered like, they make a living off of Monster Strike, and they've proven that they're super good at Monster Strike. So if they don't beat it, then GG, and then stuff like that. Of course, Hikakin works as a buffer for them, so they don't lose that much face, and it also gets people to watch because Hikakin is super popular, and it does make it so that it's not always a guaranteed win for them. But either way, he's gone, and they're looking for a new player. But I'm not sure who's going to be it. I'm not really sure. Maybe Kazuyoshi, or maybe like Arisu. Like it really depends on who they invite and who wants to. Like Arisu, Kazuyoshi is probably the top two that would make it, but I'm not sure if they want to do it. I think like Kazuyoshi doesn't really want to do it, in my opinion. I don't think he works well in those situations. Arisu probably, but does he even live in Tokyo? I'm not even sure. I don't think he lives in Tokyo, that's why there's a big problem there. People are gonna say SR, but I'm just gonna say Mixie doesn't really like Shiloh that much. Just saying. That's not like inside info or anything, that's like legit. Legit. We don't, that's like everybody knows type of thing. So he's off the board. If they're gonna bring Gorgeous, then I'm just gonna say throw in the table, flip table. But yeah, I think like Arisu or even like Pen is good, but he's only good because he has like high rank. He's like at the 950s, I think. I don't think he's proving himself to be super good in terms of mechanics. He just has a super high rank, and he plays Monster Strike a lot. I guess that's one reason you will want him there, because he just plays a lot, and of course doesn't give you that much skill. The skill level doesn't really change that much when you compare it to him or Hikakin, but he does have better monsters than Hikakin, so I think that's a step up. But either way, enough of M4. And then after that is monster news, and then we were like going crazy with Udi and Teeny. Teeny looks like a WTF monster. I was joking with people like, what if Margaret looks like that? Because they're from the same series, and then like everybody's just like, no, please no, Margaret. But I don't think Margaret's gonna come in anytime soon. But you know, it'll be funny if they both look like that. And then 8.0 is going to be fun. The free hatcher is going to be fun. 8.0 Sentry Dragon. I think I've heard them say that the max luck, it's just going to be a good max. It's just going to be good because it's a max luck monster, not good because of abilities or bump combos. It might have one null, but I doubt it's going to be like crazy fantastic. So like they're just gonna say it's gonna be it's gonna be a max luck monster that for beginners. So don't expect anything like crazy good for him. But Hatcher, the free Hatcher, that is going to be crazy. And for the free Hatcher, I'm gonna let you guys decide which element I should pick. Probably on my blog I will put up a giant poll, and then you guys can just vote which element that you want me to pull. I don't really care which element, basically. Of course there's monsters that I want to go for, but there's monsters I go for, but I do have a lot of other monsters with the same element. So for instance, if it's light, then of course I want Udi, but I already have Blue Lila, I already have Arthur, I already have like Cleopatra and stuff like that. I have all like the limited monsters as well. So I have Musashi, I have like Chio. So I'll be basically, if it's not Uri, then it's basically a bust type of thing. So I'm just gonna let you guys decide which element. I'm not gonna say which one I prefer more. That is for you to decide. I'm not gonna talk about anything else about it, and just let you guys decide. I don't want to sway anybody's thoughts on it. Like, if I don't like this element, then oh, let's make him roll this element and stuff like that. I'll be fine with any element. And then of course I'm going to choose the monster itself. I'm not going to let you guys choose which 5 because that's going to be a while, because I do want some time for you guys to vote. And the hatchery starts on the 8th, and I'll probably put up a poll when you finish watching this video, or like when this video comes up. It's going to be on my blog. Look for it in the description, and make sure to vote away. And then of course I'll be rolling on the 8th. That's going to be another video. 7th is going to be birthday. Birthday is the 3rd anniversary dungeon. So basically Saka was year number 1, Saibel was year number 2, and now 3rd year is going to be birthday. What a weird name. But anyways, yes, I need HP Morlings. And it's a little bit different this year. Before it was clear extreme, no continue, and then there is an extra stage. But then this time it is going to be just a normal rotation extreme. I guess it's good for some people because less worry about the drops, because it was never 100% drop even in extra stages. So, but it is going to be rotation for birthday. So that's going to be another max luck. Probably next. Should I do random talk on birthday? I'm not sure about my timing and schedule, because I usually shoot this on Fridays, and she comes out on Friday morning. Does she come on Friday morning? I'm terribly bad at Friday morning. So maybe I'll do it there, but we will see. And new series in JP as well. And Rembert is going to be OPAF, and then Van Gogh is going to be your Eden monster. Rembert is going to be Rembrandt is going to be your Yomi monster. And Katsushika Hokusai is kind of there, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be more monsters with laser stops from now on. They're trying to change the meta, because it did take a while for no block to be meta-ish. And I think the first no block monster was like, when was the first no block monster? I think it was like last year when they first came up with Emerald. Yeah, Emerald was like a year ago. That was like, she was like in November. Emerald was like a year ago, and only recently no blocks became meta. So it took about like what, 9 or 10 months. So probably laser stop's gonna be somewhere in that line. No wind's gonna be iffy, because there's not much ways you can make no wind needed. Of course they did some with the Godzilla stages, but it's not really needed even in those stages. But yeah, and people, like I said, people think that it's going to be an hour long, but like just me talking, it's only like 30 minutes, and I pretty much talked about everything. I talked about my trip, I talked about I already talked about NA, I already talked about the 30th at the 3rd year anniversary of Monster Strike. I guess the last one is the lottery. Of course, lottery. I want the 100 JP devs prize. I don't really care about orbs that much, because I want to max like those guys as well, 100 JP devs. And then of course with the 100, then and then all my other guys with all my other friends with max luck, then that'll be really easy. I hope, It'll be a lot easier if two of us gets 100, but we will see. Dun, dun. But like I said, looking forward to 8.0, just clearing the new normal dungeons. I doubt they'll be like the trial dungeons. If they are, then I'll be really sad. If they are, then I'll be really sad. Because these things are not that hard. And of course it's good for just getting through it. And then in terms of stamina, they didn't say that the stamina experience ratio will increase that much. So you don't have to look forward to it that much. But you know, Century Dragon looks cool just as a max luck, probably for collection sakes anyways. And rank up, and then that's pretty much it. And I ranked up, so that's a good way to end the video. Like I said, I don't think I can do an hour of talking, and it's gonna be 30 minutes, a little bit longer in terms of 1 minute, but that's pretty much it for me. I hope you guys like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.